everyone, welcome back to another theatre vlog. I'm currently outside the Apollo Victoria Theatre. It's about 7:05 I think, and I've just rushed here. I literally threw on makeup, got on a bus at like 22, and I'm here at 7:05, which is quite amazing, I think. I'm here because there's the standby on for Elphaba, the standby on for Glinda, and also Nessarose. So it's a triple standby show, super standby show, whatever you want to call it. And I've been wanting to see Wicked again for a while, and this felt like a good time to do it. So I'm lining up now to see if I can get a ticket. If not, this rush has been for nothing. Sorry, it's just really dark in here, but I made it. I made it into the auditorium. I'm trying to get myself in focus. I will talk to you more at the interval, obviously, but oh my gosh, I paid more than I wanted to, but I don't go to see Wicked often anymore, so sorry, I stopped recording there. I don't mind paying a little bit more on this trip because it's a super standby show, and yeah, I don't go as much, so it's fine. I am sweaty and disgusting. I literally ran here. But I'm so excited. I can't wait to enjoy the show, see a new Elphaba, see a new Glinda. This is my first time seeing the new cast, so I'm excited. Hello everyone, just checking in for the interval. Oh wow, Laura is so good as Elphaba, so good. I think because it's the school holidays at the moment, the audience I have gripes with. I'll probably talk about that later. But yeah, because it's the school holidays, there's extra matinees in some of the weeks. This week is the extra matinee week. I think Alice was meant to be off tomorrow matinee anyway, so I think Laura was meant to go on tomorrow regardless, so she's just on like a day early basically, I think, anyway, could be wrong, but she's so good, and she's doing like some lovely little riffs in some places that you wouldn't expect someone to do on their debut, which is awesome. Oh gosh, it's just very overwhelming. I didn't think I would be here like this afternoon. I didn't think even at 6 o'clock that I would be rushing to Wicked. I'm going to chat to you obviously more after the show, and then like in a couple of days when I've been able to gather my thoughts. I love as well that she's got a standby slip. Obviously they've had time to get that ready for her. I haven't had a standby slip in so long because I've just not come to see any standbys, just because I haven't really been recently. I haven't been to Wicked a lot, so yeah, her standby slip's really nice, and it's funny to see it like the photo vertical because normally they're horizontal on the top, so that's cute, I guess. Yeah, I can't think right now. I need to go back in and enjoy the rest of the show. here with Laura. She performed her first Elphaba show. How'd you feel?
I feel pretty great.
Yeah. What was your initial reaction when you found out that you'd be on this afternoon?
I was really nervous.
Yeah.
But I'm supposed to be going on tomorrow afternoon anyway, so it was
yeah.
it was nice. I can ease into it,
yeah.
get used to all the lights and everything.
And my camera stopped recording. I was really prepared for this show, obviously. I think my camera was like on half battery because I knew it was dead before I left. Well, not before I left, but when I realised I'd be rushing to Wicked, I quickly put it on charge. It obviously didn't have enough time to fully charge. Ugh. Anyway, let me give you some context as to what happened on this day. My boyfriend and I moved into our new flat recently, so I'm back in London now. Yes! We moved in on the Tuesday, and on the Wednesday I went to Wicked, and I wasn't planning on it, obviously. I was planning to get lots of unpacking done, which I now haven't. I checked social media, as you do throughout the day, and at about 6:15 I saw a tweet saying that Laura Pick would be on as Elphaba for the first time, and she would be on with Rosa O'Reilly as Glinda and Amy Fisher as Nessarose. I've been wanting to go back to Wicked for a while now, like obviously since the new cast has changed over. I've not seen it since Rachel's last show in January, that was ages ago, and I just thought this is a perfect opportunity, let's go. So I did. As you saw in the clips, I made it to the theatre just after 7 o'clock and I managed to get a seat. Considering that I was not ready to leave the house when I found out about this, I am still really impressed with myself that I managed to get there. I did spend a little bit more than I wanted to on the ticket, but as I mentioned, I've not seen the show in a while and I'm going to see it once again to see Alice and Sophie, and then I probably won't see it again for a while, so I can justify spending like a little bit more on this ticket. The view, it's a restricted view seat. It's to the side of the stalls, you're on the very aisle. It is restricted because of the little stairwell on the left hand side of the stage as you're looking from the audience, but if you've seen the show before, it's not really a restricted view, like you know what's going on, and there's only like I'd say probably 30 seconds max across the show total that you miss from this seat. If you're a seasoned Wicked watcher, it won't make a difference. Actually, this side of the auditorium in the restricted view seats, I'd actually recommend sitting further back because obviously the closer you are, the more that stairwell is going to block your view. And then on the restricted seats on the other side of the auditorium, they're actually all fine. I've never had a problem with those. I'd rather sit on that side of the auditorium. Anyway, as it's the summer holidays, the prices in theatre kind of up a bit generally. I'm not shocked that I had to pay this much to see the show. I stupidly didn't ask if they were doing the rail card discount. Years ago, I used to ask if I could use my 16 to 25 rail card to get a discount, and I just forgot to this time. So if you're going to see Wicked on like spur of the moment and you have one of those rail cards, it's always worth asking to see if they'll do it. Because it's the summer holidays right now, I'm not sure if they would have anyway, but I wish I'd asked. Talking of the summer holidays, obviously there's a lot of kids in the audience, but as well the audience seemed to be full, which was really nice. Like overall, I couldn't see that many empty seats. I did have 2 empty seats in front of me, which actually helped because it meant my view was really good. Though annoyingly, I was cursed with a child 2 rows in front of me who was very irritating, to put it briefly. He had a fidget spinner, which was very audible. He was squishing water bottles, the really crinkly ones, and making quite a lot of noise that way, and then also put his feet up on the seat in front of him where his mum was sitting, which was just gross. You don't do that. And it reminded me of an article I'd read, well not an article, like a blog post I'd read literally that day about how to kind of prepare your children for going to the theatre. It was such a good read. I'll put the link in the description because I think if you are a parent or you're going to the theatre with children, there are some really great tips in there on like how to prepare them for the whole experience and how they should behave. Anyway, I'll link that below. Give it a read, it's fascinating. So annoyance of etiquette aside, overall, I've really enjoyed seeing Wicked again. I know I should normally say this at the end of the video, but I just want to like preface this with just saying that I really had a great time. Seeing an Elphaba's debut is always an amazing experience. It's one of those moments in theatre that I'm reminded of how like special and unique it can be, because shows like this are so rare. Obviously, a show is going to be a little bit different every night just because some little things can change or little things can go wrong, or you know what I mean. But to see the standby for Elphaba, an understudy for Glinda and also an understudy for Nessarose, that won't happen often. I felt really lucky to be there. I've got some notes, obviously, and I've kind of gone through them in chronological order, so I hope it all makes sense, but I'll probably still jump back and forth in places. First of all, Rosa O'Reilly as Glinda. It took a little while for me to warm to her Glinda. Not to say that she was bad and I didn't like her, but it was mainly from No One Wants the Wicked, because I love to watch the Glinda's facial expressions, especially in this scene, because if you've seen the show and you know what happens, it kind of goes full circle, and I think it's really interesting to watch the Glinda in that moment to see how they're reacting. Maybe it's because I was a little bit further back and I couldn't see as much, but I don't know, I didn't see as much raw emotion there that I enjoy seeing in a Glinda in No One Wants the Wicked. As I say, that's just me, and once it got to popular I really enjoyed her Glinda and the way she was doing things. So yeah, it took me a little while, but it was really nice to see another Glinda as well. When Laura ran out as Elphaba, it was so exciting to see someone that's just totally new, that I've never seen on that stage before, absolutely brand spanking new. I loved it. She also really looked like Eden Espinosa, in my opinion, while green. Obviously I didn't see Eden on stage as Elphaba, but I've seen photos, heard some recordings and stuff, and for me, she looked like Eden. Could be going mad, but if you've seen Laura as Elphaba, let me know what you think. She also looks a bit like Lauren Samuels as well, and it's funny how people can look so different green. As I say, I'm going through chronological, so if things seem a bit weird and disjointed, I apologise. The next new person that I experienced from the new Wicked cast was Melanie LaBarry, which is a really nice name to say, Melanie LaBarry. I'm probably saying it a little bit wrong on the surname, my apologies. She was playing Madame Marble. She looks really young, she probably is quite young, and it's always interesting to see a young Marble, because I don't know, I guess Madame Marble, she doesn't have to be old, but you just think of her as an older person. But she was great. I really enjoyed her. I thought in Act 1, like towards the start, that she was a little bit too nice, but actually she had a lot of sass and a lot of like sly shade, which I really enjoyed. She also wasn't as screechy as other Marbles have been, and sometimes I don't like the screechiness, so that was really pleasant. Also, her vocal cords are probably thanking her. Amy Fisher was playing Nessarose, and I have not seen Nessa played in a way that she plays it, if that made sense. She is very different, and in a good way. She might actually be one of my like favourite portrayals of Nessarose. Basically, in the first shiz scene, obviously when she literally rolls on, and Elphaba gets mad and the wheelchair goes crazy, most Nessas act really scared. That's just what I've become used to, like just people playing scared. Amy played it in a way like she was so fed up, and I was shocked at first. I was like, oh, you're doing that really differently. And then when obviously it comes to her saying, you promised you wouldn't, what's the line? You promised things would be different this time. And I'm sure if you've only seen Wicked once or just a couple of times, you probably won't think about it too much, but I've seen it too many times and I think about these things. But that line, it's obviously meaning that this has happened before. Elphaba has gone mad and inadvertently it has affected her sister in this way. I mean, the wheelchair spinning, it's scary, but it's not the end of the world, you know? I mean, I'm scared that they're going to fall off the stage, but in the actual world of Shiz University, it's probably not too big a deal, her wheelchair just spinning. Well, it is, but, you know, there's not as much danger there. So the fact that she looked so fed up, it was like, this has happened before. Like, I'm used to this now. And this moment actually made me care more about Nessarose, and I don't care much for Nessarose. I know that sounds really horrible, but in the Wicked Witch of the East scene in Act 2, when obviously she goes crazy at Elphaba and blames her for everything, I don't normally feel bad for her because I think that she is being like really rude to Elphaba. I sound like a horrible person now, but that's just how I felt about Nessarose over the years. But for the first time, I felt wicked. For the first time, I actually felt sorry for Nessarose, and well done, Amy, because I've never felt that way about Nessarose, apart from maybe like the first few times I saw the show. and then I just got fed up of her. But yeah, well done. Not fed up, but you know, I feel bad. Please don't hate on me for not liking Nessarose. Moving on through the show, the next big moment was obviously Dancing Through Life, where I got to see a new Fiero in Bradley Jaden, and I am very pleasantly surprised with his Fiero. Not pleasantly surprised, I'm pleasantly surprised to finally hear, this is going to sound horrible, to finally hear Dancing Through Life that is really strong and I don't have to worry through it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but there have been multiple times where I've watched a show of Wicked and the Fiero hasn't like, either hasn't really gone for the big notes in Dancing Through Life, or they've not sounded great. And I feel bad for saying that, but it's the truth. So to hear Bradley just full on going for it and being really strong and confident in that, it was very much appreciated. It sounded really good. And the same case in As Long As You're Mine, the start of that. Sometimes the Fiero, whoever's playing him, doesn't really get the strength there, but he did. Also, it was really funny to see a Fiero with long hair. I don't think I've ever seen a Fiero with long hair, and it made the toss toss moment even better. That was really funny. Alrighty, time to move on to Laura as Elphaba. Naturally, as this was her first show, I had no idea what she was going to sound like, what she was going to do, how confident she was going to be. It was only really in the interval that I realised that obviously she would be having the show the next day anyway, so she probably wasn't as nervous. I know that sounds silly because obviously you would be nervous for your first Elphaba show, but to know that you're going on the next day anyway, like a day earlier, it doesn't make as much, well, it does make a difference, but you know, she was probably a bit more prepared for it than some people have been when they're like an understudy for Elphaba and kind of literally thrown on. For me anyway, I could sense that she was pretty confident, and that's really nice because you don't want to be watching an Elphaba who you can kind of get the vibe that they are terrified in that moment because they've only found out maybe an hour before that they're going on as Elphaba for the first time. So it was really nice to kind of just, I felt really relaxed, which I know sounds weird, but sometimes it can be a bit worrying for you as an audience member knowing that it's their first show. I loved some of the choices that she made vocally, especially considering it was her first show, because I just thought she might not want to risk it, she might just want to just get through it in the nicest way possible. But especially in The Wizard and I, because it's one of my favourite songs and I feel like it's such an important moment in the show because it's the first moment you're really introduced to Elphaba as a character and what the performer can do vocally. I think it's always a really exciting moment to hear what they do towards the end of Wizard and I loved what she did. I'm sure there are audios out there. I don't think you should judge someone based on an audio, but I think if you want to hear her because you don't think you'll have the chance to, go listen to them and you'll see what I mean. And also the same in Defying Gravity. Oh my gosh, it was such a good Defying Gravity. And again, I just wasn't worried. I was a little bit worried actually because for some reason, when it's been a while since I've seen Wicked, I think, is it going to be a no-fly show? Like that moment that they run to the back of the stage, I'm like, oh my god, is it going to be a no-fly? And as much as I'd love to see a no-fly, that would probably be pretty traumatic to have a no-fly show on your debut. She did take a little bit longer to get in the lift, I believe. Like, it felt like a little, like not long obviously, but it felt like there was too much of a gap between Glinda telling the guards to get off her or whatever, and then Laura as Elphie saying, "It's not her, I'm the one you want, it's me." So yeah, but obviously she was fine, she was great, she did an amazing job. She made one little mistake in, I think it was Popular, where she called Rosa Glinda, and I was there like, oh, spoilers. But apart from that, I'm pretty sure she didn't make a mistake in the entire show. So well done. That's always great. Oh, also something I loved was in Defying Gravity, she actually sang Unlimited rather than Unlimited, which most Elphabas do. I mean, I'm pretty sure every Elphaba that I've seen has said Unlimited. And I know it's silly, but it kind of gets annoying at some point. You're like, why? Like, there must be a reason why they sing it like that. It must be easier to sing or better to sing, I don't know. But I'm wondering, does Alice do that as Elphaba as well? Because obviously sometimes the standbys adopt what the main Elphaba does. I mean, obviously I'll see Alice at some point soon and I'll find out, but if any of you are watching, I'm sure you've seen Wicked recently. I would love to know if she does that as well, just out of curiosity. There were a few little fluff ups during the show, which I thought I'd mention. So the one that sticks out the most is at the end of Thank Goodness, Rosa just forgot to say the "and fiance" line at the very end of Thank Goodness. And I don't know what happened. She must have just had a little blank moment. And no one else would have noticed, to be honest. Like, unless you are someone who's seen the show too many times, or you like are obsessed with the soundtrack, the cast recording, you probably wouldn't notice it. It wasn't too much of a pause like in the song, obviously, but for me I was like, that line, it went. Oh, also, Rosa wasn't like having the best luck in this show, because in Popular, when she throws the wand back, it hit a cog and bounced back onto the stage. Obviously I was then watching it like an absolute hawk to see what was going to happen, like how someone was going to get it, because obviously the beds, it looked like it was on the line where the beds then move out, or the bed, and obviously if the wand got stuck under the cog that's under the bed, what was going to happen? I think an ensemble member managed to grab it and throw it into the wings before they came on for the classroom scene, so like, well done to them. I've rambled on for about 20 minutes, so I'm probably going to cut it here. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Obviously let me know in the comments below if you've been to see Wicked recently, especially with the new cast. Let me know what you think. Do give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know as well if you're going to try and see Laura as Elphaba. You absolutely should do, because she was brilliant, and it was obviously really nice to see her at Stage Door. I've not stage doored in a while, so that was really nice as well. It was lovely to meet Katie, one of my viewers, who tweeted me before the show to say that she would be there. She'd actually booked this in advance and just picked an excellent day to go. So if you want to know when any special shows are coming up, just ask Katie. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you very soon. Bye!